Welcome to Chattin 88. If you're just tuning in, hey, that's great. Oh, every single week we have a guest. 'Cause spending time with me, I said, spending time with me, I said, spending time with me is the best. Oh, welcome everybody to Chattin 88's at 8. I am your host, Curtis LaBelle, coming at you from Studio C, and we have a fabulous show for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in. It is our 20th show today, and I cannot be more excited than I am. I have been thinking about this all day. We have great things happening with Chattin 88s. Not only is it our 20th episode, but we have recently released our new podcast. Yes, that is right. You can find everything that we have interviewed, everything that we've interviewed. Oh my goodness. Every person we have, the people I talk to are things, ladies and gentlemen. They are people in this world and in this Canadian music industry. No, they are fabulous people. They are musicians. They are professionals. And we have been interviewing them since our last season when we started in August of 2020. And we are on our 20th episode. And now you don't just get the opportunity to watch on live Facebook or YouTube when we repost. You can listen on Anchor. You can listen on podcast. And there's a bunch of Spotify. There's a bunch of different other areas that you can listen to our podcast. And let me tell you, I know myself, I've been listening to it. It's very exciting. And I threw my headphones on the other day and I was just puttering around the house in quarantine, cleaning and all that stuff. And you know, I didn't think that I would enjoy a podcast as much as I do. And it's quite, not only is it fun and entertaining to listen to, it has been a great way to experience the show from a different source. And I'm learning a lot of things, re-listening to the show, and not just in the delivery of what we can do to bring you better content and to bring you more wonderful, great things in the Canadian industry of music, but it's entertaining. There's some great comments that I've received as well with the communication that we have between the artists that we're interviewing and the people behind the scenes, which brings me to the next great thing that we have here for Chattin 88s is our team is growing, and I am so ever grateful for that. We have new social media managers on board. We have new marketing managers. We have great people working in the camera end of things, in the technical side in the studio, as well as we have people in emerging into the finance side of things as we are growing as well financially and stepping into different categories and different opportunities with that. With grants and everything. And we're also pleased to announce that we have a great new booking and administration manager on board as well. So look, you know, this opportunity to make this show happened because I was told I should do a show, and guess what? Here we are on the 20th show. We have a bunch more in store for you for the rest of the year. And please, if you haven't subscribed or followed us on any of our social media platforms, please do so. Your support has been amazing, and it's your support that keeps us going. I got so excited I can't even talk right now. Yes, I'm drinking out of our lovely Chattin 88's mug. We have t-shirts and hoodies on the way as well, and other merchandise. And speaking of merchandise, we have we have a contest going on right now. We have a contest, yes we do. It's for the subscribers on YouTube. The first 100 subscribers are entered into the opportunity, yes, to the opportunity to win some merchandise. Yes, we have the first 100 YouTube subscribers to subscribe to our YouTube channel are going to be put into a draw for some lovely mugs, some merchandise on hoodies and t-shirts, etc. So make sure you head on down to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yes, we also have new Instagram, and our Twitter accounts are up and running. So that is absolutely fantastic too. I'm so grateful. Our team is amazing, and we are moving right into the show. We're going to get to a part of the show right now where one of the things that we do on our show, if you're just tuning in, or if this is the first show that you have ever laid your ears upon phonologically, we provide original Canadian content where we interview artists in the industry, professionals, musicians, etc., and we bring to you all of that Canadian history and original content right across the board from east to west. And right now, our guest this evening is, we'll find out if she is a musical artist or not, and if she is, maybe we'll get her to sing something. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring to you one of my songs. This is called Closer, but I'm going to slow it down a little bit. So I'm just going to give you the first half of the song. And if you find somebody out there that you're able to talk to, or you want to get closer with, a friend, family, loved one, a relationship, or so be it, whatever it may be, this song is for you. Closer when we're together, closer, it's for the better. Closer, writing a letter, closer, closer. Closer when we're at the movies, closer, sharing all my candies, closer when you wear my sweater, closer, closer, only forever. Only forever. For forever closer. 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 Closer, closer, only forever. Only forever. Closer together. Oh. Something like that. It's in the work in progress. I did a trial on that song. I turned it into something that I thought maybe was me, and found out that it wasn't me. So I won't be doing that version of that song. That'll be a side B song, the original, a demo version of that. I did it at a studio with a producer here in town. Turned out great, but it just was not me. I am not a pop artist. So we are working on turning that song into more of a rock song, but an upbeat kind of pop rock, I guess. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens whenever it comes out. All right. We originally at this point would be going on to On This Day, but we're going to shift things up a little bit here today, and we're going to move into some music history. We've got two segments here for this, so a little bit of music history. And this first about that some of the things that I found I was doing some research, and I come across some of these really cool things on the internet and thought that I'd share them with you. Canadian music has, it amazes me every time I dive more into the history of Canadian music and just the artists that are in it. I'm amazed every time I turn around. I'm like, oh my goodness, that artist is Canadian. That artist is Canadian, and I'm sure I've said that before on this show, but I guess I've been ignorant to it, and ignorance in this place, in this sense, is not bliss. I am disappointed that I have not known these artists were Canadians. Now, the artists that I'm going to speak to today I knew are Canadians, but I just find that often a lot of, I speak for myself, and I think I speak for a few others, we take for granted that these are just artists, and we forget that they're Canadians. Again, same as Hollywood actors. There's some great Canadian Hollywood actors out there that you wouldn't think, and they're like, oh, that's Canadian. SARS stock. If anybody remembers SARS. Now, I know this is a touchy subject just because we're going through COVID right now, but I thought it was valuable to bring up in the sense that we might be able to do the same thing after this pandemic is over. And just a bit of information, the Sars benefit concert that took place in Toronto on July 30th, 2003. If anybody remembers that, watching that, you can find that on YouTube and watch some of those video clips and everything like that. It was absolutely one of the largest benefit concerts that Canada has ever had in attendance to attendance. The concert aimed to raise funds to help Toronto recover from the SARS outbreak that happened earlier that year. Keep in mind, the event had about 500,000 people in attendance, making it the biggest outdoor ticketed event ever in Canada. So I think just because of, not just because, but let's figure out a way to do the same thing again this year or next year after COVID has gone through. This has been one of the, in this time right now, I know SARS didn't take over. There was a lot of different provinces that did what they needed to do in order to stop SARS from coming into their province and moving on with it, or however far it needed to go across the country. But I know COVID, and I speak for everybody on this in the music industry, it has affected us majorly, and especially with live music. And I know myself, I have tickets to Celine Dion that has been postponed now for this year in August of 2021. And let me tell you, girlfriends out there and boyfriends, if I don't get a chance to see this lovely Canadian, do you know how many people don't know that Celine Dion is Canadian? Because they all performing in the States and they're down there. I am telling you, I will be some upset, let me tell you. So I think if you're with us and you would like to see Canada or any other country in the world, or even a world live concert, wouldn't that be cool? A world live concert to bring back the community for the performing arts. That would be absolutely fantastic. The rise of modern Canadian pop music in the history of Canadian pop music. 2015 saw a boom in Canadian pop artists consistently topping the charts. It was a really big year. I do remember that year myself. That year, Drake's "If You're Reading This, It's Too Late" reached #1 on the chart, along with Bieber's "What Do You Mean?" The Weeknd's "Can't You Feel My Face" a few years earlier. That was just before 2015. Carly Rae Jepsen's "Call Me Maybe" topped the charts in over a dozen countries and became one of Canada's biggest pop songs of all time. "Call Me Maybe." Laying claim to being the 4th best-selling digital single of all time. Since 2015, we've also seen artists Shawn Mendes and Alicia Cara reach chart-topping status, making a name for Canadian pop music in the late 2000s. Pop music changes the evolution of music in all genres. A lot of people I say a lot of people because I read a lot of magazines and I keep up on the industry. Rock music is dying. Well, rock music isn't dying. It's, a lot of pop music isn't dying. Classical music isn't dying either. It's our responsibility as artists to make sure that we push forward and keep. I think it's important that we use our peers in the industry and musicians that we look up to and that we have listened to and gathered all that information from, that we take their flavor and we make our own with it and we move forward to keep that genre alive, to keep that sort of music into the industry current. And I know it's never ending. It's always revolving, and the evolution is growing extremely. And there's a lot of crossover too. We have country music that crosses in with rock. We have pop country. We have jazz rock. We have a bunch of different things of the sorts as well. Another thing that we have is Rush defines Canadian rock in March of '74. Rush released the eponymous debut, beginning a now 4-decade run as the band on the front of the black t-shirt worn by the weird guy on the ponytail in your high school who works at the music store. Yes, that is right. The power trio of Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and the beginning of Rush's second album, Neil Peart. Sorry, I just about swallowed my tongue. Neil Peart became kings of AOR and remained the quintessential Canadian rock band. If you do not know who Rush is, please make sure that you take time to do that. Canadian history, it is amazing, and we like to spread the Canadian industry that we have here on Chattin 88. It's all original Canadian content, and that's one thing that we are proud of. Today's featured Canadian artist, Alanis Morisse. Here are some facts about Alanis Morisse. She was born in Ottawa, Ontario on June 1st, 1974. She's the former child actor and bubblegum pop singer turned angst-ridden rocker Alanis Morisse shot to superstardom in 1995 with her breakthrough album Jagged Little Pill, which also, believe it or not, there's a lot of crossover nowadays into Broadway and musical theater. Jagged Little Pill on Broadway, working its way around there. And its vitriolic lead single, You Oughta Know, made a huge global impact and went on shift 33 million copies. 33 million copies. Isn't that crazy? Some of the albums by Alanis Morissette: Jagged Little Pill, So-Called Chaos, Under Rug Swept, Supposed, Former Infatuation Junkie, and Havoc and Bright Lights. And of course, we have some new music coming out from our lovely, wonderful artists here in Red Deer. We have Wickland versus Wickland. They are a husband-wife duo. They are a force to be reckoned with. They have their project Wickland versus Wickland on their first album that came out almost 2 years ago. Acoustic tunes with attitude. Canadiana singer-songwriters Dan and Melody Wickland have delighted listeners with their award-winning acoustic duo project Wickland vs. Wickland. Folks can't help dancing, singing along to their homegrown original roots of rock. Their latest single, Eclipse, is out now on all streaming platforms. They have a fairly large project coming up for 2021 as they just had an article out in the Red Deer Advocate, so you can go ahead and check that out on social media as well. Wickland vs. Wickland is also going to be one of our upcoming guests here in 2021 for Chattin 88s at 8 with your host, Curtis LaBelle. Make sure that you check out their Facebook page, check out their social media, listen to their music on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer, Google Play, all of the above. And speaking of all of the above, we have our lovely guest, Danya Dixon, CEO of Canadian Music Week, who is here to join us. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for this wonderful lady, Danya Dixon. I have had the opportunity to meet her through the shot. We'll talk about that after. But ladies and gentlemen, here is the lovely Danya Dixon.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I had to rename myself though.
Oh.
And it's not letting me do that. So I'll be Neil Dixon today.
Neil Dixon, how are you, darling?
I'm doing fabulous.
Well, Danya, thank you so much for being here tonight. It has we just finished talking about one of our new segments, history and music, and Canadian Music Week has a lot of history in 38 years. But before we go ahead and do that, tell us a little bit about yourself, so our viewers at home and when they listen to the replay and to wherever they are in their car know a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I started off totally opposite of being in the music industry. I actually went to university for criminology and I applied to law school, so something completely different.
Really?
But I always worked, because this is a family business. My parents used to run it. Now it's myself and my father. And in university during summertime or anytime I wasn't, in school or whatever, I would do part-time work there. And then eventually part-time became full-time, and I haven't looked back since. So I've been working there full-time now for about 12 years, but I've been doing it since I was a little teen.
So just to clarify, CMW is family run. It is purely you and your family that have created this.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. That makes things even so much more exciting. Congratulations on that, and congratulations to your family. It's always nice to see the work put in a collective from a family, and we all know how important family is, especially through this time right now, and for artists in general to push through to their dreams. So let's talk about that for a second. So
sure.
do you play music? I know one of our I've called our guests people and things tonight, and you're not a thing, you are a human being. But do you sing? Do you have any music talents?
I play the piano. I am the worst singer in the entire world. I don't even sound good in the shower. So that talent didn't come naturally at all, or it wasn't in the genes, let's just say. But I do play piano. So
how long have you played piano for?
I haven't done it in a while, but I started when I was really young. And during recess time, my parents actually made me take piano lessons. So when everybody was outside running and playing, I was in a little closet in the school that I had a piano teacher, and there you have it.
Oh, that is lame. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just like any other, as you know, I guess I can speak for a lot of youngsters who are taking lessons and having taught lessons. I know that parents push practicing on a lot of students. I remember my parents telling me to practice as well, but I would never had the whip come down and say I had to use my recess of all things to be
Right.
practicing piano.
But I do appreciate it now. Then when I was like 7 or 8, not so much.
Oh, don't we always though? We always,
Always.
with age comes wisdom and respect, I guess. And
Yeah.
we look back and
Good
go,
look
yeah,
at it.
it was the right thing, I guess, at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Canadian Music Week, just for people who are tuning in, and for the artists in the industry in Canada who don't know what Canadian Music Week, first of all, we can find you at cmw.net, and that's correct, right?
You got it.
Perfect. So we have questions from some viewers that have chimed in and sent us some emails, as well as I have some questions just so that we all get to know why Canadian Music Week. I know Canadian Music Week is in its 38th year for the conference, but what is different about this year that will surpass the other 37 years that Canadian Music Week has been presenting, and especially now that we are way more relying on technology, because this year everything is going to be virtual. So
Right.
what is the challenges about going virtual, and what is going to be making the 38th year that much different than what has been presented in the past?
Well, the whole virtual thing. So it's not going to be the same because we're not going to be out in clubs watching live performances. I know everybody misses that. So, it's not going to have that same atmosphere that it usually does. But we're still bringing not only our community together, but internationally too. So the people who weren't necessarily able to travel to Canada, because we do get like 40 some odd different countries that do come, where they're artists or labels or just people looking to network and do business. This kind of opens the doors and access for anybody, to come and play. We have the festival component, or to learn on the educational side of things for the conference. So, I mean, we're still going to have all those little facets and all the little things we do under the CNW umbrella. It is just going to be virtual. So should be interesting. We've been researching all the platforms right now because we want to have all the functions to make it, seem as live and connected as possible. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be interesting, but
Of course, and I guess it's the times right now. I know ourselves. We originally, when we started doing Chattin 88s back in August, one of the things that made us different is we had a live audience as well. So we were
right.
with a live audience that would be interacting with technology, and that was a really cool experience. And of course, we've had to opt that out because of COVID rules and all the stuff.
Yeah.
But so for the technology people at home, and for the artists who are now having to adapt in their house, doing live streams and finding the best platform that works for them through social media, what technologies are you guys introducing this year to make a seamless event? As well, I suppose you never know with technology, internet can go down, but what are you guys changing this year?
Well, we're still in the midst of researching. We've looked at probably, 30, 40 different platforms because they're all popping up now. I mean, obviously there's Zoom and Microsoft has some stuff out, but there's a lot of new platforms that came out that are trying to give you all those functions. So you still have the networking component. You can still live stream, a band in a venue, even though nobody's at the venue, you can still get that experience and that atmosphere of being in that particular club or bar or whatever it is. So, and obviously socials, you can live stream to YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So take advantage of the socials right now for sure for live streaming. And Zoom, I mean, that's another way to connect.
Right. So tell us about the, Are you guys going to be doing certain parts of the conference, if I may, like what the Grammys did? A lot of the artists did their own performances in different venues and
Yes.
then brought that out. Is that something that we can look forward to as well this year for
You got
live
it.
performances?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we're gonna have some things pre-recorded for some of the people who can't necessarily make those dates, like some of our celebrity kind of interviews and keynotes and that kind of thing. Obviously, it'll be close to the set date of the conference because we still want the subject matter to be topical and
Right.
relevant. So we might pre-record some of the stuff, but then the speakers are gonna come afterwards for a live chat. So not in the physical sense in the conference, we don't always get to speak to the speakers afterwards. So this is good because they will be engaging and giving their time. So that's a nice new little addition. What else? And
that is really cool, actually.
Yeah, because usually they come out of the conference room and there's a bunch of people who surround them, a lot of people who want to try and talk to them, but then they have to go to a meeting or whatever. So you don't really get that one-on-one kind of chance. And where we do something called the International Marketplace at Canadian Music Week, and that gives you the opportunity to meet one-on-one with agents, with labels, with A&R, with radio stations, that kind of thing. So they're curated, pre-arranged meetings. It's almost like a speed dating kind of thing, but these are people you wouldn't otherwise meet just off the street, or not even necessarily at the conference because there's so many people there. So we are adding that as a feature. It's part of the Pro Pass. So if you do want to, there's somebody specific in mind and you want to go into the international marketplace, that's a good way to start. And we have people from all over the country, all over the world actually, that participate in that. And our spotlight this year is a spotlight on Poland. So every year we do a focus and a spotlight on a various countries. So they bring their particular acts here along with their kind of music industry. So again, they bring their agents, their festivals, their managers, their talent buyers, that kind of thing. But then it's a reciprocal kind of effort. So we export our export ready talent, Canadians, over to those countries as well. So hopefully we can get them, known and attract a fan base outside of Canada.
How long has it taken then for that connection and that relationship, that's the word I'm looking for, the relationship that has been created and developed over these past 38 years? What has made Canada one of the most significant parts of the industry, in the music industry? Why is Canada becoming one of the biggest places for music? We used to have, America used to be one of the biggest because it presented its artists in a much more glorified fashion. If you look at it, even the Junos, I like the Juno. I prefer the Junos in presentation because it feels more like home, even though it is at home. The Grammys is big. It's exploited. It's, the Junos is a lot more honed in. And so it becomes a little bit more personal, if you will. So what is making, how is Canada Music Week contributing to the growth of Canadian music and keeping that connection, like you say, integrating the exporting and the importing of artists from across overseas to, communicate and connect with artists here? How is it helping?
Well, it's not necessarily just Canadian Music Week. It is actually an international conference and festival. And what we do to create these relationships is we actually go to those countries and we meet with their ambassadors and the government and all their music industry representatives. We see the artists that they're working with that are export ready to come to other countries. So we have to formulate these relationships way in advance. So if we're doing a spotlight, let's say next year, usually we're in that country now, making those relationships. But obviously we can't do that because of COVID. So it's been virtual. So it's a little bit different, but it's also nice to submerge yourself in their culture as well, just to learn a little bit more of, the music industry there and, just how things work and then bring them over here. So Canadian Music Week is more like an international hub. It's a gathering every year of the top industry representatives and artists who are there to network, to grow, to learn, to showcase their music. Last year we were supposed to have 400 bands across 40 different venues. It used to be 1,000 across 60 different venues, but we wanted to kind of streamline it so people can actually get to these. Like that was just crazy. And we wanted a little bit more quality over quantity too, right? So
Of course.
for the festival component, virtual, we'll probably have about 200 bands that are going to be playing throughout the week. And those will be in the evening, but we'll still get a great, an abundance of emerging bands and seasoned bands. So, and it's good because if you are at Canadian Music Week, you can't be in 10 places at different times, right? So
right, of course
if something's happening at the Horseshoe and something's happening at Sneaky D's or whatever, you can only be at one place at one time. So this gives you the chance to actually go through all the music because it's going to be on demand afterwards. So you can see all the performances that you might have otherwise missed if it was in person. So that's actually a good thing with the whole virtual is you get to go back, you can rewind, it's on demand. And the festival component will be actually free to everybody. The conference portion of the event, that will be a ticket price, but the festival, we want as many ears and eyes on these new artists. So that's something we haven't done before. Usually you have to get your wristband and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a new little addition as well.
That's very cool. I know I'm definitely going to be, I've never been to Canadian Music Week. I have heard of it numerous of times. I've just never, I was saying earlier about how there's the phrase ignorance is bliss, and it's really not in this case. It is the responsibility, I think, for artists, especially if it's a music business adventure, or because that's something else that you guys have. The conference is quite the it's like it's its own NAM, if you will, right? Yeah. And it's got so many layers and so many levels and different. I was looking at the roster on the website and the different, the guest speakers and all that stuff and what's going to be happening. And just for anybody who's tuning in at this point right now, we're talking to Danya Dixon, CEO of Canadian Music Week here. And tell us, Danya, what has been one of the biggest challenges for you? This is such a huge undertaking, and I know you're not doing it alone. You have a team. It's a company. It's doing its thing as an industry in itself. So we all know that there's many hats in the play and many responsibilities that are being done in order to achieve such a successful goal. Mm-hmm. Tell us what has been the biggest thing with 12 years for you that you have seen with the growth of Canadian Music Week and hiccups. Which things don't, Disneyland didn't have every ride working on its first day. Oh,
God. You don't even want to know what goes on behind.
Oh, you know what? We do. We do. We don't need stories, but what's one of the biggest things, the challenge with organizing and making such an event be pulled off as best as it can?
Well,
38 years, right?
Yeah. What you need to do is not let anybody know there's a problem. That's number one. But we've had, keynotes who were supposed to be on stage or ready and the video cameras are going, all the audience members are in there, and then you get a note that they're stuck at customs and they can't get through. So you got to make do, you got to juggle the schedule, you got to get some other speaker up there, and then people complain because they were there, specifically for that person. Just little stupid hiccups that always happen. So you just make it work. You really have to think on your feet, and luckily I do have a good team who are on it. We've all worked together for such a long time, so it's easy for us to.
It's a well-oiled machine, and you guys have things in place, and it's. I'm excited to see it this year and to be a part of it this year.
But I want you to see it in person. But virtual will be fine. But in person, that'll probably be 22, I guess. It's just the aura, when you get in there, everybody's.
I know,
and about music and learning and the educational and the networking parties and the networking one-on-one sessions, and that's where a lot of the deals get done. Actually, is in that hotel.
That's really cool. That's the nitty gritty. That's the deep in. That's the dirt, and that's the dish, and that's the part that's exciting. That's the part I like. And which leads really well into a question that we had from one of our viewers. Sure. They were asking because we have because live music has went down I shouldn't say it's gone down the drain, but their question is between the difference of live music and the social challenge. we have a social connection whenever we are face to face doing a live show. And like you say, that's where all the deals go down. That's where the handshaking comes into place. The buddy is in the hotel room, wherever it is. And then we also now have social media. And a lot of, I had this conversation with one of our cinematographers today. A lot of people forget that it's social media. They focus on the media side of it and they forget the social end of it. And they put up content, and then they don't follow through with it. So what can artists do to generate their motivation and excel during this time? In your example, so we're kind of shifting a bit off of Canadian Music Week, but in your opinion, what is the best way for these artists to gain motivation with the difference between live music and moving on to a social challenge with it now?
Well, I mean, they do have the downtime to write and work on their projects, but I think collaboration is key. So, and that kind of gets you motivated just in and of itself. If you're collaborating with another artist, or, just reach out to start with 5 people a day that you wouldn't have otherwise talked to, or 10 people a day. Make that a goal, because just build up your network, because you never know where that's going to take you, especially when we do get back out into live. And ask people what they want. There's no point just putting up senseless content. It has to be kind of strategic in its own right. I mean, artists now, they kind of have to take the role of everything, right? They got to learn now this technology stuff. They should be taking workshops just to brush up on their skills. Like all this stuff they have to learn, but this is the time to do it while we do have that downtime. So I think right now collaboration is key.
Absolutely, I agree. And also, with the fact that a lot of people think that there's no opportunities right now is the best time to create an opportunity. I think it's the best time when we are in a position of chaos and uprising, but that also is an opportunity, like you say, to collaborate and to create anew.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the creating aspect might be a little bit more down in the dumps from what we usually hear, because it's such a busy time, right? In terms of what your songs are about. Or I was just actually watching a songwriting workshop today with Metalworks, and they're just trying to get out like a release of what they're feeling, and the depression, the not knowing. So some of the songs might be a little bit more somber and gross, but it is what it is. Like that makes the best music, right? When it's you're feeling it, it's emotional, it's a thing that's happening that people can connect to. So like just in terms of mental health, write that all down. Feeling shitty, write it down. Like it's just motivate yourself in that way with your feelings, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
because
absolutely. That's really good.
To something, So just keep working on it. Give yourself a break though, because sometimes you have like writer's block and whatever, but I don't know, call up a friend, collaborate on something, work out ideas, that kind of thing. And that in and of itself can be motivating for both parties. So you could come up with something amazing.
Well, it's nice to hear you say that as well, Danya, because you may be you represent a very large organization. You put yourself forward with a lot of responsibilities, and you're in the industry. You may not be on stage, you may not be doing that, but everything you say is valid to the point that the artist. Everything you say is validated by other people in the industry, managers, producers, etc. So it's nice to see that you're, not only in the business side of things, you are here also as someone who cares and making sure that the artists are still connecting and the artists are gaining. Absolutely. Yeah, it's really nice to see. So one of the things that we have in the industry right now that artists are very important about or very important about. I'm losing my mind. The artist
as y'all are
is we say artists now have the responsibility of doing everything. They're the CEO, they're the producer, they're the creator, they're the arranger, all the above. but it's also, I've talked about this quite a bit, and I know a lot of us have. There's the difference between doing it as a business and doing it as a hobby. So in your opinion, having seen people in the industry and professionals hobnobbing and BSing here and there and making friends and making deals, what is the importance of the music business, and how can it lift you up or tear you down in this industry if you're not on top of it?
That's the thing. You have to be on top of it. You have to know your stuff. We like during the conference, we have entertainment lawyers that come up and say, you need to be able to read a contract properly. If you don't, you're going to get screwed for lots and lots of money. You need to know what your rights are. You need to know, about licensing. You need to know all the, I'm not saying that you have to be a jack of all trades, you have to be an expert, but you need to know enough that you're not going to get screwed over. I mean, there's a lot of people in the business who are all for, the artists and getting them to where they need to be, but then there's the assholes too that are just looking at this, right? So
yeah,
in order not to be taken advantage of, you need to know the basics, basically. And in the conference, it's more educational in scope. So we have various topics. We talk about, the technological advancements in the industry, streaming for being one, and AI and VR and that kind of thing. But we also have a day for its global creators. So rights management and licensing and royalties and learning how to read a contract. Those are really important.
For sure. So so then look, we have networking hasn't changed, if you will. Okay, the concept of networking hasn't changed. The medium it's presented in has changed. We now have the ability to connect with people in our hands, on our phones. We have the ability to we still have the ability to write a letter or even be face to face. So why has the importance of networking? Why has it gotten more important and more valuable right now in the 21st century, and especially? That's one. There's a lot of good things I think that have come out of COVID. Yes, I'm not talking about the medical side of it. I'm talking about the opportunities that it has allowed us to create and to make the choice to want to do that. So why, in your opinion, especially with CMW moving into a lot of the virtual end of it, it's even making networking that much more poignant and important? Why is it? Why is that? Why do we have to be even more connected now?
Because we're all stuck at home. Can't do anything else. Yeah, but it is, and that's why we're looking at the various platforms that will give us that functionality. So you could have those private conversations, you could have the one-on-one speed dating sessions, you could have just a networking kind of cocktail party, which we would usually have, and just to be able to be around all your,
I like that,
suspects. The point is we want to make it as real life as possible with not being in real life. But networking is huge, and that's like, even in our surveys, people obviously want to learn. That's one. But networking and doing business, like you never know who you're going to meet. As an artist, you could find a manager, an agent who's really into your songs. They saw you last night at a club and boom, they're signing you. We've had many deals that happen during Canadian Music Week. And that's where a lot of people get discovered too. So we've had people like, I don't know, an example that comes to my head, like Katy Perry, for instance. She played Canadian Music Week when she was a nothing. So, and worked her way up from there. So we're really kind of, in Canada anyways, the launching pad for people to get in the scene.
Right, and I think it's important that artists take advantage of it, whether it be going to the conference, taking a couple of the conferences, the courses, or whatever you have, catching the festival, getting an opportunity to sign up and have a one-on-one in any capacity, in past and present. So then in the conference itself, explain to us what the difference between the music industry and the record industry is that you guys offer for education there.
Well, we usually kind of divide things up just in terms of what they are. So we have our radio, for instance, sessions. Oh, that's my alarm saying I have to go to bed. Sorry.
Well, thank you for tuning in tonight. She has to go to Betty Bye. That's right. Sorry.
Oh God, what was I saying?
Music industry, record industry.
Right. Well, we kind of we have little icons on our schedule too. So if you're looking for something that's more dedicated to more of a one-on-one thing, more of an artistic kind of workshop, or if you're looking for a little bit more advanced, like all those icons will show you. So if you wanted to learn about publishing and royalties and all that kind of stuff, that'll be one little icon. If you're really interested in everything to do with radio, then that's so anyways, we divided out depending on what would be of most interest to you, because I'm sure anybody coming there is at all different walks of life and all different stage of their career, maybe looking even to start in the music world. So, and we also during the conference there's a small expo as well, trade show on the floor. So all the newest instruments that have come out and the associations are there and that kind of thing. So
it really is gathering everything in the music industry. You can go shop, you can purchase things, it's a convention as well. It has everything going there, from performance all the way to really the bookends of everything. Tell us about the have we kind of touched on the 3-day summit? I know I was looking at that online. Is that a part of the conference as well?
Yeah, so the 3-day summit, that's going to change though, because that was for 2020, which got postponed twice, which sucks. But we have a new round of speakers that we've actually just announced. But I think the schedule is going to change just because it might have been relevant back in May or September, but so much has happened. So we have to beef up the schedule a little bit with some priority kind of topics. And if anybody wants to submit any panel ideas, if anybody wants to submit speaker ideas, we are totally open to that. We are also looking for 50-50 representation for gender parity. So that's definitely one of our goals, and that's just not for the conference portion, but for the festival as well. We want to see that equal representation everywhere, and hopefully I can fill that gap. That is our goal. So
that's fantastic. That's really, really awesome. Is that a new thing this year?
No, we started it back a couple years ago with it's a company in England where they got a whole bunch of festivals to write down that they were going to do that. So by 2022, we should have even more, but 50-50 representation across the board. And that goes for, just music companies too. And it's not just gender representation, it's the whole gamut, right? So we want to give equal opportunity for everyone.
That is dynamite, especially now that we have, I hate to say this, but we have appropriation all over the place. People wanting diversity and inclusion and creating it. So that's absolutely fantastic. It's nice to see that that's growing, that it's in place and that it's expanding to where it needs to go to reach the masses, if you will. Give us a little hope, in your opinion. Do you think live music is going to come back, or are we stuck in the age of technology now where we are?
Oh no, it's definitely coming back. If there are any events moving forward, and I don't think anything like the earliest would start until summer. We're waiting on the vaccines and all that fun stuff, and it's also a question of whether people are going out if they're comfortable, right? And if they can cross the border and all that kind of stuff. So maybe even fall of 2021, but I think we'll get our groove back, officially back in 2022. And I think the industry is actually just going to explode. Just all of us being, in our house,
running like the wind down the street. Yeah, we will.
We will take advantage of the time that we lost, and I honestly think the live business will get back to booming. I don't know if we're going to make up, what we've lost over the past year, and a lot of venues have disappeared and that kind of thing. But I think people are they're just waiting to get out there.
They're itching. The mental stability is going to need it. It'll be a medicine. It'll be a fix. It'll be, Jen Beavis, we were talking, and one of the things that she was saying that, it'll be like Paris in the 1920s again. It'll be hustle and bustle, and it'll be all very exciting. And I even joked, I said, maybe we should all wear clothes like that again.
I think that.
Um, Established in 1981, this lovely experience, Canadian Music Week, was designed to stimulate the exchange of market intelligence. What concrete actions have you seen been put in place in order for this company to grow to your expectations? You say that you have come on board 12 years ago. This was something from your family.
Mhm.
Why did you create this? Why was this a no-brainer to do, and what has kept it alive all these years?
Well, it was actually my dad who started the business. He was a record producer, manager, all that fun stuff beforehand. It's actually a funny story. He got, in his 20s, he moved to Canada. He's originally from England. And him and his, I guess, girlfriend at the time, they opened a coffee shop on Jarvis Street in Toronto. And it was called Grumbles. And from there, he started getting live bands to come in, you know, like nice jazzy bands in the coffee shop. And then that's how he got to learn or to meet the agents and the managers and the A&R and all those, you know, all the people behind the scenes. And then that's how he kind of transferred into what he's doing now. He's like, how do we make this bigger and better for everybody? So that's how it started. And then I trickled in. So.
And you know what, it is. I'm speechless on it because again, I'm humbled and I'm very proud to know that it family run is a big thing for me. And what a great thing your dad did. I'm so happy. What is your dad's name?
Well, the name you see on my Zoom, Neil Dixon.
Neil, sorry, I can't see from that side.
I tried to rename it, but we shared.
No, okay. Well, again, so yes, we are very proud of him, and we thank him for all of his work, and of course everybody on board, because it takes a massive team. We have a couple minutes left here, my friend. I want to say a quick thank you, but before we do, I just want to move into something that is really, really important as well, especially. I had the opportunity to do this last year. The Shot, you are a resident judge. You are coming back this year as well.
I am, yes.
Tell us a little, the smile on your face explains to me that you think this is also a wonderful experience. This is a great thing for artists. And I know it has had to change. It's done its 7 years. Before it was we did last year remastered, being an original singer-songwriter experience. Tell us why it's important to you, and what can we look forward to this year, and why artists need to get up to it and sign up.
Well, it's important because it's another outlet to get your music out there, to get fans to learn. Like CJ puts on these, you know, workshops, and you're getting advice from all the mentors. Like Jen is publishing. We have Shane, he's all about radio. CJ's managing, like he's been in the industry for a long time. So you're getting all these different, I guess, people or sectors in the industry that are there to help you, not necessarily criticize you. It's constructive criticism. They're telling you all the things you do or don't need to do to move forward if you're taking it, you know, seriously, and this is what you want your career to be.
And especially being that it's not really, I mean, yes, it is a competition and it's right, but it's also more towards what I really enjoyed about it, the artist development side of it.
Artist development, yeah.
And what we get out of it. You know, again, there's that saying, you get out of it what you put into it. And I very much believe that, because I know that being myself, I'm speechless for what I have gotten out of it. I know I was messaging Kara a couple of things as to why I believe it's important, and what I got out of it is one of the, if not the best things that have ever happened to me is the Shot.
Happy to hear
hands
that.
down.
Awesome.
It truly has been. So what are, to end our evening off here in it goes by fast. Time goes by fast.
It does. My goodness.
I know, and I've enjoyed your company so much, and I know our guests who have been watching and commenting, and our people, we are our people. I don't know why I keep saying that. Everybody in the industry, from little kids who play guitar, who are pushed into a closet to practice during recess, or all the way to who are practicing all of the modes and scales of what they need to in a piano. Give us some advice that we can take home for the music industry to remind us we can do this?
Yes, we can. And like I said before, I'm going back to still continue to make connections during this time, collaborate, get your music out there, take the downtime to compress and really feel what you're feeling so you can get that down on paper. But just keep working on your craft. And if you need help, like I'm here to, if you have any questions, and I'm sure any of the mentors from the shop would be too, but just take this time to kind of dive into the soul a little bit, right? And use that to facilitate your craft and make it better. So when we are ready to go on stage, you are ready to go. So
I love it. I love it.
I have one more. Can I do one more thing?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry. It's just an announcement. So we have the Jim Beam National Talent Search.
Yes, that was one thing I forgot to mention. Please tell us about that, because yes, please do.
Okay, so this is a national campaign. Jim Beam is the sponsor. Last year was hard because it was during COVID. Usually they're in live events, but we get 5 regional finalists from 8 different cities in Canada. Usually those 5 bands are put into a live venue and then they're judged and yada, yada, yada. Anyways, this time was totally different. So we all recorded in recording studios around Canada, and it was very safe. Like there's only X amount of people allowed in the room, and anyways, we took the proper safety precautions, but it allowed these regional finalists to actually get that content afterwards, because we recorded them in there, and this is footage they would have not have otherwise got if they were in live. And in some of the live venues, you're only performing in front of like 200 people, 250 max, depending on the venue. This way, this was out to the entire country. So we got over like 4 million, 5 million impressions during that, which is absolutely amazing for the artists, you know, especially.
That's insane.
And that's on freaking, you know, we're doing it on the damn screen. But we got to get them in the recording studios, and we got them their footage, and so I think it went pretty well. So we're going to be doing that again. Submissions are open now, actually, and I think
I was just going to say, where can we go to sign up? We can go to.
So you can go to Dindies. My bedtime. Indies.ca. You can look at Dindies. I'm usually in bed at like 8:30. I'm so like. Go to the Dindies. No, it's indies.ca. There's 2 portions there. So one is for if you wanted to nominate somebody for the Indie Awards, which is actually going to happen during Canadian Music Week, and then the talent search. You'll see that on the right-hand side. So yeah, there's been some really, really good bands that came out of it that are getting a lot of recognition and radio time. So it's just that one step, you know, further, and try it, you know.
What do you lose? What do you lose?
Yourself or whatever. You don't.
Exactly. You lose nothing.
Experience. And our mentors who are going to be on there, they've been in the business for a long time. They'll be able to give you some, you know, constructive feedback, or just a positive thumbs up. And yeah, so we're excited about that. And so that's March 5th is the deadline for that. And what else did I have to say? There's also award.
Sorry. What is the, just really quickly, when is Canadian Music Week this year? Is it September?
No. So it's going to be, that's what we had postponed it to, which obviously got canceled. It's going to be May 18th to 21st. Okay. Obviously 2021. And so if our festival component is still open, so if people are looking to showcase, it's going to be obviously a different kind of showcasing, but that's available right now. We're open to speaker suggestions, panel suggestions, all that fun stuff. And there's going to be a lot of workshops too. So some more 101 workshop for the artists, a little bit more advanced. So they're kind of in tiers in terms of what level in the industry that you are, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Danya, I too as well. I'm ready for bed. This conversation has been absolutely amazing. I thank you so much for all the feedback, the information we have. We offer the education, and so thank you so much. We won't keep you any longer.
Please I have one more thing.
Oh yes, we thing to say.
Sorry.
We can keep going. We got some glass of wine. Let's keep going.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. One more thing. I'm so tired, so I forget. We have something that you might have seen too called the Virtual Voices series. Not sure if you have.
I don't know this.
No? Okay.
No.
So CMW is putting this on. They're bi-weekly webinars and workshops. A lot of the industry has graciously provided us with their time, and it's free webinars, and it's just to keep people educated during this time, networking during this time, connected. So yesterday we had Carrie Mullings from Rebel Vibes. She's a radio host and producer. She did one. The Junos did one a couple weeks back. We have a bunch coming forward, and they're all on our YouTube channel. So if you missed them, but it's free content, and it's meant to connect too. There's been a lot of connections made through that. So
we can find that. Sorry, we can find that on YouTube at Canadian Music Week YouTube channel.
Yeah, if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see all the virtual voices there.
Perfect. And
if you ever want to be on one or host one, let me know.
Oh, careful what you wish for. We'll be at you. No,
I'm all for it.
Awesome. And so we'll make sure that we put all this information up in our post, and we will also share this information on our Chattin 88's Facebook page so that people can go to it as well. All right, I'm going to ask you, do you have one more thing?
No, I think I'm good now.
All right. Danya, thank you so much, my dear friend. It's a pleasure to know you. Pleasure to have you on tonight. Have a great evening, and we will catch up in the near future.
Sounds good.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
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 All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our guest for tonight, Danya Dixon, CEO of Canadian Music Week. What a fabulous individual she is, and how much knowledge she brings as well. I'm really happy to know, again, like I say, that it's Canadian Music Week is a family-run, integrated opportunity and company and experience for everybody. And again, it extends. Our family is huge, from my music side to your music side. We're all connected together, and we all have the opportunity to get better ear monitors and make sure that we keep them in our ears. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you tuned in tonight, we had a really good time, that's right. 'Cause every single week we have a guest spending time with me is the best. I'm Curtis LaBelle, your host for Chattin 88 to 8. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, our host, myself, is going to... Our host, I just about introduced our guest as our host. It has been a long day. Please get some sleep so that we can bring to you our lovely guest next week, Kate Davies, A&R and label representative. Have a fabulous night. Peace and enjoy the sleep.